In this video, we're going to discuss blocking below the waist, fouls that carry a loss of down, and fouls with automatic first downs. First, we'll talk about the restrictions while number 1, the ball is in the tackle box, and number 2, either unrestricted, the center to tackle, who can block 9-3, and partially restricted, stationary backs, who can block 10-2, have not left the tackle box. These players can block below the waist in any direction, all the way back to the goal line. Backs, tight ends, and receivers outside the tackle box can also block back towards their own goal line. However, backs in motion and these receivers are restricted to blocking below the waist away from the original position of the ball. And as denoted by the red coloring, these people are also restricted to the 10-2 blocking of the clock face. The final restriction is that the offensive players can now only block 5 yards in front of the original position of the ball. Once an unrestricted or partially restricted player leaves the tackle box, they have now given up that ability to block back towards the original position of the ball. They are restricted to blocking away from the original position of the ball, even if the ball is still in the tackle box. However, there is still one key block that is still allowed, and that is they are able to block back towards their own goal line. We now reset to our normal restrictions to blocking while the ball is in the zone and the players have not left the zone. And now we will transition to the ball leaving the zone. Once the ball has left the zone, there are a lot of restrictions that kick in. At this point, the offensive players can no longer block back towards their goal line. And also, all players are now restricted to the 10-2 blocking of the clock face. Only the center has the option to block towards the original position of the ball to either side. We now reset to our normal blocking restrictions as this ball is in the tackle box and the players are within the tackle box. We'll now transition to the ball being in advance of the neutral zone. The restrictions as stated before kick in again. The offensive players cannot block back towards their own goal line, and all players are now restricted to the 10-2 blocking on the clock face. Offensive players may only block 5 yards in advance of the previous neutral zone. And again, only the center has the option of blocking either the left or the right of the original position of the ball. We talked a lot about the offensive restrictions. Now, Team B restrictions. They can only block 5 yards beyond and behind the neutral zone, extended to the sidelines, and their force of contact must be from 10-2 clock region. There are also a few exceptions. The first being that no defensive player can block below the waist against an opponent who's in a position to receive a backwards pass. Another exception to the rule of the defense being able to block 5 yards in front of and behind the neutral zone is the second exception that Team B players cannot block below the waist against eligible Team A receivers beyond the neutral zone unless they're trying to get to the ball or unless a legal forward pass is no longer possible by rule. Next, we'll talk about penalties that carry a loss of down. Sometimes it's helpful to use an acronym or saying to remember certain rules. For this one, it's deuce and a quarter, an homage to the old Buicks of yesteryear. There are two 10-yard penalties that carry loss of downs, two penalties with no yardage that carry a loss of down, and there are five 5-yard penalties that carry a loss of down. So now, when you group them in the rulebook, it may be a little bit easier. You have the two 10-yard penalties, illegal batting and illegally kicking the ball, the two that result of no loss of yardage, intentionally grounding a forward pass, or a forward pass illegally touched by a player out of bounds, and then the 5-yarders, the illegal scrimmage kicks, illegally handing the ball forward, planned loose balls, intentionally throwing backward passes out of bounds, and a legal forward pass by Team A. Finally, we'll talk about personal fouls that carry a first down. Personal foul, 15 yards for dead ball fouls, 15 yards from the succeeding spot, automatic first down for fouls by Team B if not in conflict with other rules. So in essence, any 15-yard foul by Team B will give a first down. Thank you for your time.